Hi, welcome back. In our last video, we talked about how to add the record into the database, right? So we already taught. So we saw the output in our Postman. In this video, I'm going to teach about the validation part. Okay, if you are not watched my last video, you must watch the last video. How to register the employee details into my MySQL database. I already show, right? So here, if you are go to the database, we'll see the right click, yeah, double click and open the database. You can see here my database is opening. So here these are the records added, right? So you can see these are the records added. You can see here, right? You can see here these are the records added. Now what I'm going to do is, if I add the record, first it will be checking the employee ID. If it is employee ID already exists, it will be show the warning message employee ID already exists, right? That is must. Okay. If you add the records, it will be checked if the whether the employee ID is added or not, right? So how to do the validation part, we'll see, right? So let's back to our employee employee service. Go to the service. Okay, this is a employee controller. Okay, when the request is coming from when you click save button, the request is coming here. Go to the service, employee service. It is passing to the employee service IMPL. Here it will be checking. Here write the code. Right here I have already here. It will be checking. Okay, here will be checked. Right. So in our last video, you have to write only this. If all record is coming, employee dot save employee, it will be add the records into the database. Now here it will be checked validation. If employee repo, this is the query part. Okay, if not employee repo exist by employee get employee ID, this get employee ID. Okay, if not exist. Okay, if not exist, if you put like this one not. Okay, in repo employee repo, if the id is not exist in the database, if the id is not exist, it will you can save the record. Okay, employee repo save, you want to save the record into the entities, the one which will be communicate the database and store the record into the database mysql table, right? If this record is saved, it will be passing the employee get name and save, right? Otherwise, if the record is already exist, it show the error as else. We have to pass like this: system out dot println employee id already exists. The error message passing employee id already exists. Okay, return the customer id already exists. We have to pass in the message. This is very must. Okay, you must understand the stuff well. Okay, this is very must. Okay, whether the IDs exist or not in the database, right? This is how we have checked the ID, whether the IDs exist or not in the database in Spring Boot, right? So let's back to our Postman. Will check, right? So let's add employee number 4 here. This NIC ID also change it, name something name button here. Customer ID already exists, because if you go through the database, will be check, double click, there is a id number 4, because the id is already exists, so that the message is displaying customer id already exists. If you are passing the id number 2 also, you can check customer id already exists, right? Now I'm going to pass id as 7. Here I'm going to pass the record Peter, right? 7, right? NIC I'm going to change it as this is duplicate, not duplicate the NIC ID. Click send button. Peter saved. So let's back to our database table and refresh it. So here this is a refresh. Here it will be added. Record is added. Peter is added. You can check the Peter is record Peter is added. Here I have to do the auto increment part. That's why it will be auto incrementing. So Peter is added. You can see here the Peter is the one who is the record is added into the database. You can see here, right? Very simple. This how we have to check the ID. If the ID is exist or not, we'll be check it here. Very simple, right? Okay, very simple. This stuff, right? Whether the ID is exist or not, we'll check the things like this, right? Let's back to our employee ambient, right? The simple code we have to do it and check, right? uh, if you have any doubt, we have to change this one as a customer ID already access, not the employee. This is the message it will be written into our postman, right? It will be returning our postman. This record will be, this one should be the customer ID already existing here. This one should be coming here, this one return. Okay, this one's also here, console also here also displaying that one. The here also the console also here displaying here, right? Okay, this is the simple stuff. If you check whether the record is exist or not, all the stuff you have to check the validation in our IMPL, right? You must understand the stuff. If you have any doubt, you let me know. Thank you for watching.